Hey everyone, my name is Gordon. I'm the pastor over at TC3, and we are front porching it today with Bishop Polk. He's one of our friends, and if you go to TC3, he's a familiar face to you. So, Bishop, thank you for joining me on the front porch today.
No problem.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
So, hey, the topic that we wanted to cover today was basically, how do you feel like people are doing with the quarantine,
Right.
and what are you seeing when you hear from people in your congregation, maybe even out in the community?
There's a little bit of fear, a little bit.
Yeah.
Not very much. I think even trying to get back started, get back to the church, I think that's going to be the biggest battle. Trying to say, all right, when would the congregation feel safe to come back?
Right.
And so I think when we're talking about, hey, maybe next month, let's open it up.
Yeah.
It's looking like you get a little resistance because
Yeah.
people are like, you sure?
Yeah.
Who's making that decision? You making it? The governor, the president?
Right.
So
Who is making the decision?
Right, the doctors.
No, I'm asking, who's making that decision for you guys?
I'm just looking at all areas of they're opening up 25% for the restaurants. So I was trying to release 25% for the church. So I'm just trying to stay in compliance with what's going on with everybody else.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out the balance on that, because it's hard to know. And like you said, it's like the governor kind of has the reopening phases that he wants you to work through, and then there's people's feelings, and then there's people's fears, and then there are legitimate concerns that you got to cover. So it's like it's a hard thing to manage. And I've kind of come to the place of I think it's just going to be bumpy.
It's amazing because you have some members thinking it's lack of faith.
Yeah.
If you trust Psalms 91, why would you have a mask? And all? What are you talking about?
Right.
You might as well just jump off the cliff like, with Jesus and the devil. If you trust God, just jump off. So, we're in that phase where you have individuals that is kind of playing on fear, saying it's not faith.
Yeah.
Then you're trying to play, you're playing a role of not moving too fast because you want the congregation back, but you still want to make sure people are safe.
Yeah. I'm sensing from people that there is a real a sense of wanting to get back in community again. Like they miss relationships, and they don't even know how to act when they run into each other.
Right.
You put a knuckle out, you put an elbow out, you put a foot out, you stay away. But I think there's a longing for community right now.
My wife is into the Zoom.
Right.
Now, she had not too many ladies, but she had about 20 to 30 ladies on Zoom. They had a tea party.
Okay.
Now, this Wednesday, they're going to have Ladies in Red.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means prostitution. I don't know what it is.
Well, hopefully not. Anyway.
It's Ladies in Red, so maybe somebody's being delivered.
Right.
But that's part of they're trying to stay connected. And the men, we do have a phone line that we try to call the guys, and we tried outside service. It didn't work for us.
Right.
Yeah. It's just.
Yeah.
We're in an area that is just congested.
Right.
And
it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So what about down to where people are living, in their homes? I was reading something this week about how China is their divorce rate has dramatically increased after the age of quarantine. So what do you feel that? Do you sense that in some of the couples that you get to spend time with?
Well, I can say for myself, me and my wife, we don't like each other at this point.
Right.
I mean, it's like you go to your room, I go to mine.
Right.
She's home, I'm home.
Right.
And too much time, I know we say it's not good for man to be alone, but sometimes I want to be alone.
Right.
So, I mean, we have to manage that time because too much time in the same house and with the kids. And they're not going to school. We see a little bit of tension in the house sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think the stats are showing too that domestic violence has spiked a little bit too.
Wow.
And so I get back to the need for the church is stronger than ever before. And I'm finding that when I run into people in community that they're hungry to get back to church, and because they're hungry to get back into community.
Right.
So,
right.
one of the cool things for me during this whole time, and I don't know if you've experienced this or not from what you do, because you've pastored for a very long time, but sometimes you can kind of take for granted the opportunity that you have to be able to be with people in community like we are on a regular basis. So for me, I was kind of finding that like I was pushing to get through the weekend, and so like a little bit of my joy maybe was lacking. And so now, like, I'm really looking forward to the day where I get to be there with people on the weekend.
Yeah, I was just telling somebody, I'm working harder now.
Right.
When the people was in the church.
Yeah.
It seemed like my schedule is more trying to make sure live stream, this and everything is.
Right.
And I'm finding that I had to reconstruct my thoughts, because people, they don't understand that the energy from your parishioners,
right,
it's like a alternator to your battery.
Yeah.
The alternator don't have power; it just generate power.
Right.
And it keeps the battery from going dead. And so they don't realize, as pastors, we need that alternator.
Yeah.
Now the battery will run for a while.
Yeah.
But well, it really helps out when you got an alternator keeping that thing charged up.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to get fired up when you're looking into a camera sometimes. So it's hard for that to even translate.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing that I'm finding though is that people are seeing that as a lifeline, and it's really been effective to where there are people that are just locked in. They just can't get out.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm finding out the faithful too.
Yeah.
I'm really finding there are some people that are very faithful.
Yeah.
Been committed.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, if they're there and they're not there, they're going to support the church. They're going to support the ministry. They're going to do what's right in the sight of God, and they want to see you succeed. They don't want to see the church or the ministry lack.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing that you have those 50% of members that, man, they're diehards.
Yeah.
They're with you.
Yeah. And I would echo that, because I had a guy text me on Sunday, and he said, how far is the church down? 30%, 40%, 50%, financially. And so, I was kind of pleased to report back to him that we've actually done okay during this whole stretch of time.
Right.
And so, I've been inspired by the faithfulness of people. So how have you guys done during the stretch?
Yeah, we're holding our own, and some of the bank's been very kind to us.
Yeah.
And so we thank God for that, and we thank God for just some people that we normally will pay. Yeah. They just, they don't worry, we're just going to do it without, not saying people supposed to just stop, they have families, but we had a few people that just took it upon themselves to say, hey, at this time, we're just going to serve and don't worry about giving us anything. So it's been a blessing. Yeah, that's great. The encouragement that has come from just that and people's touch bases has been really, really cool, because the church really is a family. So I'm going to shift gears with you a little bit, because when we talk, we get into some weighty stuff sometimes, and you've helped me process some things, and I think I've helped you process some things as well, and so we've kind of, hopefully it's been iron sharpening iron. Yes, sir. And so we had you a while back come and kind of help us break down the divide between black and white, and so we started a conversation about that, and it has resurfaced in the news again with what happened with Ahmaud Arbery here recently, and how that that situation took 2 months to come to light. I think because of what Corona was was happening with Corona, but also I think corruption, and so you watch that video of, like, not a kid, but he's 26 years old, and he gets basically gunned down, in one of our small towns here in Georgia. And as a dad, you watch that and you can't not be wrecked by that. As a parent, you can't not be wrecked by that. And I don't know, that thing has been a real
like dark cloud around my world of late,
Right.
because I'm just like, this should not be happening in America, to where parents, when they send their kids out the door, have to worry if they're going to come back or not. And so I'm wrestling through that one. So how are you processing through it?
Well, for me, is I guess when you're looking at the black community,
Yeah.
it don't surprise you. It's like, I was sharing with a guy the other day. He never heard of Rodney King, white guy.
Oh,
I said,
yeah.
"You never." So I
Yeah.
showed.
Can't
him
we all just get along?
I showed him the video of Rodney King. He said, "Oh man, get that away from me. That's terrible." I
Right.
said, "You never heard of Rodney King?"
Right.
He said, "No."
That's terrible that he hadn't heard of Rodney King.
My point.
Yeah.
There's a blind eye, and because of cameras and because of cell phones.
Yeah.
If that cell phone would have never been on,
Yeah.
you think we'll be having this conversation?
Probably not.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's only
Probably not.
because of the capture of the video
Yeah.
that the world
Yeah.
will see. Because most time when you're in a community in East Stewart, if something go down in East Stewart,
Right.
most people don't see that.
It just happens.
It just happens. So it's the system word against the community's word.
Yeah.
And so most black people, they be like, see that there again. So it's not surprising. It's just
Well,
one of those things.
I mean, I'm just sorry. I just, I don't even know, how to respond to that. I'm just sorry about it.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, God, we shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So I'm just,
Well,
I'm sad by it.
Most of that stuff, and I can use me for an example. When I never told nobody this story.
Yeah.
It's true. When I was about 14 years old, there was a guy up in Vero. His name was Blackie.
Yeah.
He was a drug dealer. I saw with my own eyes, police come, they grabbed him, handcuffed him, and with my own eyes,
Yeah.
I saw him shoot Blackie.
Oh.
From that point,
And he was handcuffed.
he was handcuffed on the ground. I'm not talking about media. I'm talking about my own eyes. I can remember like it was yesterday. Never shared this. I told my mother, of course.
Yeah.
But those officers never got indicted. No charges against them. And for years, I had that racial issue
Yeah.
in my heart
Yeah.
because racism or being prejudiced is not something that you're taught, especially as a black person. I very few blacks that I know been taught racism.
Okay.
It's something that you experience,
Yeah.
something you encounter, something that you be like, man, you wouldn't have did this to me if I wasn't black.
Yeah.
So when you encounter those types of isolated incidents, that don't mean everybody's like that.
Yeah.
But when you encounter that, it just put up a red flag. Like, man, it's just like somebody's child get beat up by a black guy in high school.
Yeah.
Their whole life from that experience,
Right.
they just don't like black people.
Right. Right. Impacted by that event.
And that's what's happening in the black community. A lot of times those events impact the way they think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you talked about the video that surfaced, and would we be talking about it? The thing that really irritated, beyond the initial, like, we saw this young man in the prime of his life, like literally gunned down. Okay. After that, on the heels of that, another video comes out, and it's of him walking into a construction site. He looks around, and then he leaves. And I'm like, why in the world would they put that? I mean, I'm mad that they put that video on as well, because it was to insinuate that there was an issue there. Because bottom line for me, I've gone into houses that are under construction
All the time.
all the time.
That's right.
And I didn't worry about getting shot walking out of that house.
Well,
Matter of fact, confession, like, I love real estate. I've broken into a few houses just to get a good look at it.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But, I just was like, to put that video and tie it into the other video was just, I thought, really insensitive.
Well, I guess the question is this.
Yeah.
If the roles of the shoes was on the other foot,
Yeah.
you take 2 black guys in a truck,
Yeah.
white guy running down the road
In Georgia.
in Georgia,
Yeah.
and they say it's going to be citizen arrest,
Yeah.
and they shoot a white guy,
Yeah.
how long do you think it'll be for those black guys got charged?
Yeah. They wouldn't have walked out of the police station.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They never called 911.
Yeah.
It's just 2 black people that said, hey, we're going to take it upon ourselves.
Yeah.
And so most people don't look at it with that perspective.
Yeah.
They just look at, oh, okay, it could have. Maybe they was trying to do the best for their community. Well, all right, let's say if that was 2 black people
Yeah.
and they did the same thing,
Yeah.
how would that have been looked at?
Yeah. Well, what can we do? Brother to brother in Christ. I appreciated, our student pastor Miles. He just was burdened by this whole thing, and so he put something out on Facebook about the whole thing, and really was eloquent in what he had to say about the fact that racism still exists in America and that it shouldn't, and that he kind of brought it around to the only way this problem is going to be solved is by us understanding that it's still there, and by also connecting with Jesus at a point to where we recognize that there are differences between us all,
Right.
but yet sin is the issue, and sin is the problem that clouds our judgment when it comes to how we view and approach each other.
Let me say this, and I'm going to say it on the air with you.
Okay.
Both of my sons date white girls.
Okay.
That was hard for me.
Okay.
I never thought it would be an issue
Yeah.
because I'm a preacher, I love the Lord,
Right.
but when they walked in my house with white girls,
Yeah.
son, well, I'm not racist, but you're not trying to go any farther with this girl, are you?
Right.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
Man, come on. Well,
Right.
do her parents know?
Right.
Yeah, they cool.
Yeah.
So I went to the Lord
Yeah.
and I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, why my sons didn't choose chocolate? And you know what the Lord told me?
No, I don't.
He said they did choose chocolate. They just chose white chocolate. I promise it's a true story. And he really...
So you're saying the Lord said that to you?
To me.
Yeah.
He revealed to me...
He talks to you a little different than he talks to me.
Absolutely. Because I went to him and said, why is my 2 boys... What happened to them? Why they didn't choose some sisters?
Right.
Now,
Right.
am I racist? No. I was just thinking this is going to be a problem because of my past experience.
Right.
And we have a lot of whites.
Yeah.
They may never say that, but they
Yeah.
have a problem with it.
Yeah.
And they in their heart, I'm not racist, but they got a problem with your granddaughter being with a black boy or your child. They got a problem with it.
Yeah.
And I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, what is it in my heart? And he revealed to me spiritually that I raised my kids to be colorblind.
Mm-hmm.
And it encouraged me because I never taught them to be racist or biased or anything.
Yeah.
So they didn't, my son, he grew up, he went to John Carroll School.
Right.
Your wife was their teacher.
Yeah.
So they grew up in an environment that it wasn't about black or white.
Yeah.
And so it's the old school mentality.
Yeah.
The people that's the 50s and the 60s and the
Yeah.
70s, they have this old school and this generation now, they're a little different.
Yeah.
A
little bit of a beacon of light when you think about it from that perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And we have to
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
I'm saying me because
Yeah.
he got through that situation and both of them they're together today.
Yeah.
They've been together for at least 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
When Christmas time, her family come over to our house.
Yeah.
My son graduated from the Marines. Her family came up there to Paris Island. They was in South Carolina too.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, man, this is a blessing. And I
Yeah.
thought it was going to turn out to be pretty rough.
Yeah.
But her family just, hey, we love Jamal just like you love my daughter.
Yeah.
And so
Well, that's refreshing.
but it's the way we think. Now, we may say, oh, I'm not racist and I'm not prejudiced, but let your child show up with a different color.
Right. Yeah.
A brother show up here with your daughter. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Right.
But you just show up here and he got tattoos, got some golds in his mouth, and
Right.
you're going to be like, that'd be challenging. Now, it never happened to you. I'm just saying it would be a little challenging, and you'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so I think the question is, what do? We have to change.
Yeah.
We, as the older generation, have to pour into them
Yeah.
that God is a God that He loves everybody. He's not a God of color.
Yeah. You use the term colorblind. And one of the things that, Miles, when he did his post in Facebook, he was talking about to be colorblind isn't to notice, isn't to not notice that a brother is different in regards to the hue of his skin or the color of his skin. It's really to notice that we are different, we have our differences, and we embrace those differences. And so that's kind of his interpretation of colorblind, is to embrace as you are, with the unique differences that you bring to the table. So I thought that was kind of an interesting take on that. So anyways, are you going to be okay with those girls?
Who? My daughter-in-laws?
Yeah, you gonna be all right with them?
Listen, my daughter-in-laws drove all the way to Tennessee to see my son.
Yeah.
By herself in the mountains.
Yeah.
No sister would have did that.
She's all in. She's all in.
Hey, when she drove to
committed.
the mountains of where he was in a little town outside of somewhere, it's deep in the mountains. I was scared to go up there by myself.
Right.
And listen, if she drove up there by herself to see my son, I knew from that point, this the girl you need to marry. Because I'm telling you. So,
well, I'm glad that there's an emerging light with with the coming generation.
Yeah.
So that's good. So back to my other question: how as a church, a brother in Christ, can we be a support when we see like this event that we saw on the news with Ahmad and his passing? I mean, what are the things that we can do?
I think
because I wrestle with it.
We educate each other and be honest. Like I was just being transparent.
Yeah.
With my situation.
Yeah.
Most people won't do that.
Yeah.
They'll sit back and they'll say, "Oh, praise the Lord," and they have that stuff in them.
Yeah.
And I think when we have these conversations, and if somebody's transparent and honest, it may bring some people to the forefront and say, "Hey, I was thinking the same way."
Yeah.
And I think that's how we can help.
You got to talk through it. And those conversations can actually be fun. So, Anyway, so back to what we're going through right now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think we get through this? Because this seems to be like a long vacation, and your kids are in the car going, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" And there's a little bit of crazy that's starting to go on in all of our heads. So how do you think, as followers of Christ, we can get through this and not resort to violence?
Well, we just got to believe that all things is working for our good.
Yeah.
This, for some crazy reason, in spite of it all, we have to believe that this is working for our good because God is in control.
Yeah.
And now we have to believe that anything that happens, God is ultimately in control of it all.
Yeah.
And we have to wait, and then sometimes we not only wait, but wait patiently on the Lord.
Yeah.
And I think so, being patient, letting things kind of work itself out.
Yeah.
And
that's hard. It's hard. Yeah. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're right. And then you have those, members that, "Hey, Pastor, we need to open up the doors."
Yeah.
And you got to have faith.
Yeah.
And then you got the other members that's very, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, we're in the middle. We're in the middle of trying to make something happen and try to meet everybody's needs.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. So you're kind of just saying, hey, now's the time for us to just trust God.
You know, a lot of the members, and this is something I believe, this is a time where membership, when I say laity,
Yeah.
membership need to practice what's been preached.
Yeah.
They need to become the shepherds of their home, the men of the church.
Right.
This is what I'm teaching. You
Yeah.
the shepherd now.
Yeah.
You the pastor.
Yeah.
You only got 2 members.
Yeah. Right.
In your church.
Right.
That's
Right.
your church.
Right.
And I'm trying to express to the men, man, you need to find a breakthrough in your family. Pray with your family.
Yeah.
Read the word. Get your Sunday. Don't because we don't have Sunday school or we don't have educational Bible study.
Yeah.
You do it at home.
Yeah.
You teach your family. This is
Yeah.
a time that we can get men and women
Yeah.
to begin to grow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not being used by God. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
They took prayer out of school. They didn't take it out of your house.
Right.
So let's
Right.
begin to say, hey, it starts with us, and let's begin to practice not what we preach, but preach what we practice.
Yeah. That's really, really good because this, in my opinion, this is an opportunity like we've never had before because we have been for the last decade so distracted by more and more activity, and now all of a sudden it's like God just said, he's putting his foot on the brake and going, you guys are going to have a Sabbath.
Right.
You know, it's going to be for a season, and you know you're going to have to look to the sky, and it's going to stretch you a little bit. And so I think it's been really, really good in some regards because it's put the heat on us a little bit.
And on me too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm one of these touch your neighbor people.
Yeah.
I ain't no neighbors now.
Right. Right.
There's nobody to touch.
Right.
So
yeah, my thing with my neighborhood here is I've just talked over the fence line basically, and I'm like, because I got some older neighbors to the
Pastor
west
Gordon,
of me.
hold on. I think I went over your head.
What?
I'm one of these grab your neighbor, touch your neighbor at the church.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but you said I touched my neighbor.
Gotcha. I gotcha. I gotcha. So no touching your neighbors. So I'm talking with these guys though, about like, if you need anything, I want to be there. So we have the opportunity to be the church, and so it's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, so is there any way that we can be in the trenches with you guys right now as a church?
Just pray for us, and like I told you, man, I'm always trying to help me anything I can improve the media. I know you got a great media team, so I'm lacking in those areas. But I mean, I appreciate all that you do. You've been a blessing to us.
Thank you.
And your church, and if they don't know it, you have been a blessing to us and have helped us. And Miles, and a couple of other youth groups came over to the church and been a blessing doing the sharing
playground
and painting the church and doing other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm happy that God brought us together, and I'm looking forward to a lot more years of good friendship with you. So I'm thankful for you. So thanks for joining us on the porch here today, and this is how we greet now, I guess. So
that's
anyways,
can't shake no
but
more.
thank you, Pastor Polk, for joining us for Front Porch'in.